Hey guys, this is Meredith Baker reporting for On the Map, Off the Radar. And today we have an episode that is literally out of this world. We have astronaut Ron Garan here to talk to us about how going up in space gave him the orbital perspective or shift in perspective about how to solve and think about some of the problems here on Earth. So first off, thank you so much for being here. We are so excited to have you. We have so many questions we want to ask, and you probably get this question a lot, but what is it like to see Earth from space and to see the sun rise and set, every 45 minutes? Can you kind of explain your first experience going up into space and what that was like for you?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on, Meredith. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, seeing our planet from that vantage point is really a profound experience, and something that could change, your perspective. It can change the way you look at our planet. It can change the way we look at ourselves, and it certainly did that for me. And I think one of the big things that struck me the first time I saw our planet from space is the undeniable contradiction between the beauty of our planet on one hand and the unfortunate realities of life on our planet for a significant portion of its inhabitants. It becomes really clear, and it kind of hits you in the gut, that life on our planet is not always as beautiful as our planet looks from space.
And kind of delving into this, as you touch on in your book, the orbital perspective. So what was the big shift in your way of thinking about solving some of these problems? And when you had this realization, what were some of the first steps you kind of took to implement this epiphany that you had on this in space? And also, how can non-astronauts, because only a select number of people get to go into space, kind of adapt into this way of thinking as well?
Yeah, I think, well, one of the big tenets of the book is that you don't have to be in orbit to have the orbital perspective. You don't have to be in space to realize that we're all in this together, that each and every one of us is riding through the universe together on this spaceship that we call Earth. And I think that is the big shift in perspective. The big shift in perspective is that there's not an us and a them. If a natural disaster happens or a man-made disaster on one side of the planet, and we think, oh, those poor people over there, that's a shame. Maybe we should try and help them. But really, the shift in perspective is, no, we're not helping them. We're helping us. We're all in this together. We're one human family. And what I like to say is there's no spectators, no passengers on Spaceship Earth. We're all crewmates. And as crewmates, we're all in space already. You said, how could you have this perspective if very few people are going to get the chance to go to space? Well, we're all in space at the moment. We're all riding through the universe together, like I said. And so there are no passengers on Spaceship Earth. They're all crewmates, and as crewmates, we have a responsibility to mind the ship and to take care of our fellow crewmates. And I think that's a big shift in perspective. It widens your circle of care of who you really feel closely interconnected with.
And can you kind of explain how your initiative, the Fragile Oasis, seeks to engage other members of the cruise ship of Earth in this initiative?
Well, the objective of Fragile Oasis is to use that perspective we have of our planet from space to inspire people to go out and make a difference and make the world a better place. But we didn't want to just say, hey, look, we've got this beautiful planet, go make it better. We wanted to provide collaborative tools. We wanted to provide a way to connect the different pieces of the puzzle. Because really, one of the big reasons why we still face so many critical issues and challenges, in spite of our technology we have and all the resources we have, is because we have not really learned how to work together. We've not learned how to set aside our differences and collaborate towards our common challenges that we face. And, there's a lot of duplication of effort, loss of efficiency. And so we're trying to provide a platform where people can work together and, not have so much duplication of effort.
And can you explain or tell us a little bit more about your initiative in providing clean water in Africa with Mana Energy as well?
Yeah, one of the other tenets of the orbital perspective is to take a really long-term vision. It's to not put Band-Aid fixes and temporary solutions to problems that focus on a specific area. It's to look at a whole regional picture. If you zoom out far enough, to look at a global picture, and to look at that global picture over a very, very long time frame. And so we have a very financially sustainable model to provide clean water To date, it's provided clean water to about 5 million people in Africa, in Kenya, and Rwanda. It's financially sustainable because it uses carbon credits as its funding source. It's not a go in and put in a well and then move on to the next village and do it somewhere else. It's a long-term vision where for decades to come, we're going to continually provide this clean water to actually in Rwanda, it's the poorest 30% of the entire country. And so I think that is also a shift in perspective, that we need to get away from short-term solutions, Band-Aid fixes, and look at more of a bigger picture and longer-term solution.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible, and a very powerful message that hopefully will be heard by the masses, and especially our viewers watching. And our final question today, what is the most striking thing that you have seen during your time in space?
Wow. One thing that's the most striking. I don't know if I could really pick out one thing, but just the planet itself. The planet itself is so unbelievably beautiful. And, you know, when we went to the moon, for instance, we went to the moon to discover the moon, right, to explore the moon. But I think when we went to the moon, and certainly it's true with the International Space Station, we discovered ourselves, and we found that we were putting most of the focus back on the Earth. And, you know, in doing so, it helps us to learn a little bit about ourselves. And so I think just the most amazing, incredible thing that I've seen from space is planet Earth. And, you know, there are parts of it that really stand out. The Bahamas really stands out, the Himalayas, the Middle East. You know, there's parts of it that really, you know, shine in the night or shine in the daytime, and, you know, really kind of take your breath away when you see them from space.
Wow. Well, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time, and I'll include links to the Fragile Oasis and also a link to your book, The Orbital Perspective, below for our viewers. This has been On the Map, Off the Radar, signing off with astronaut Ron Garan.
Thanks, Meredith.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.